Charles Barkley, y'all. Let me first say that Shannon Sharpe, although I do not agree with every single thing that he does, really lately it seemed like Shannon been going off the rails, especially when he tried to come at Candace Owens. Completely different conversation. Shannon Sharpe has been putting on an incredible, as a content creator, objectively, and it doesn't matter whether you agree or disagree with everything that somebody says, you can always give flowers when people do something good. We also need to make sure that we acknowledge when people do great things, as well as, or as much as, when you don't like what somebody is doing, something that you don't want them to see doing. Shannon Sharpe is absolutely a goated content creator, and I believe that Shannon Sharpe is awesome and is as illustrious as his football career is. I believe that he deserves his flowers today. With that being said, recently he's brought Charles Barkley onto the platform to have a conversation about a lot of things, including athletes going broke. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I personally have not seen this clip, and so we're all reacting to it in real time.
But I tell these guys, Shannon, when I first was an idiot, when I got my money, I had like 3 or 4 cars. And Dr. J says, how many of those cars can you drive at the same time? I said, what do you mean? He says, how many of those cars you got to drive at the same time? I says, 1. He says, well, why you got 4? He said, Chuck, this money got to last you for the rest of your life. He says, this money got to last you the rest of your life. He says, son, don't waste all your money on cars. Everybody know who you are. Wow. He said, if you pull up in a Kia, they know, oh, that's Charles Barkley. When you pull up in a Mercedes-Benz or a Rolls-Royce, that's Charles Barkley. But the problem is that money, it's not the fact that you can't afford that car.
Right.
It's the fact that $300,000 you spent on that Bentley, if you bought a car for $70,000, $80,000, you would have had $200,000 more in the bank, and it would have been growing and growing, and then 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 20 years, that $200,000 is going to be worth a lot more.
The question is, Charles, is that I tell young people.
I see you, Shannon. Shannon, hold on. Shannon got on that Protect.
The question is, Charles.
Shannon is out here shining on them boys. He got great taste in watches, that's for sure. Hey, has anybody ever tasted Shannon's liquor? I'm curious to check that out. Charles Barkley is right, and I'm going to add additional context once I see some more of what he says. He's right in that a lot of this money that these athletes make, because you got to remember, everybody is not LeBron James. Everybody is not Damian Lillard. Everybody is not Jason Tatum. Everybody's not going to go on and Shaquille O'Neal, Shannon Sharpe, Ocho Cinco, Gilbert Arenas, going to go on and have a completely different career outside of what it is that they did on the field or on the basketball court, right? And so on average, if you look at the statistics, and it kind of reminds me of what happens when we're talking about relationships and what women want or what men want. And they always say, well, I want a 6-figure guy. Okay, cool. For some reason, Instagram has given us this false sense of identity and that everybody is making $100,000 or more, even though inflation is high. It's not true. If you look at the data and you look at the statistics, on average, most people, households, is making somewhere between $67,000 and $72,000 a year. Households, combined income, that's both people working. Most households are making between $67,000 and $72,000 a year. Both people. So that tells me that, hey, somebody is making $50,000 a year in that household. Another person is bringing in some sort of supplemental income. They combine their resources together in order to be able to put it together and be able to build this legacy. And if they smart, they limit in the amount of money that they spending until they generate enough passive income and other things that they've invested in to where they can then live their lives free and not have to worry about resources and money. But it takes you to be able to get that nest egg. And I got a video that's coming up in the Patreon where I talk about relationships and money, and specifically how to groom or put the person that you're in a relationship with in a position of power to be able to earn while at the same time maintaining that traditional household. And who's better suited to do that than give you that information than me? But my point is that on average, and the statistics will tell you that whatever it is that y'all out here seeking is unicorn, as far as these guys that's making all of this money, and it's a whole bunch of people that's just regular, instead of building it together, there's a lot of people that are disillusioned by what it is they see on Instagram instead of looking into the data and the statistics. On average, basketball players, football players go broke within 5 years. They file for bankruptcy within 5 years of leaving the league. The average NBA or the average NFL time that's in the league is less than 4 or 5 years, right? And so when you start to think about this, and you also take into consideration a lot of these guys get into the league and they get money very early in their 20s. I was very fortunate in that, I made a decent amount of money earlier in my life, but I fumbled it, but I had time to be able to get it back because I had tangible skills and work ethic and dedication and, a whole nother mindset that allowed for me to be able to be 10 times more successful and leverage the information that I had in order to be great. These guys spend their entire life to try to get to the league, and then they go in the league for 4, 5, 6 years and blow it all, and they be bankrupt by the time that they 30. By the time that they 30, and you got to live from 30 to 70 or 80 or 90, you got a 50-year, 60-year window that you could possibly still be alive, and you got to figure it out. You don't have no financial literacy. You don't know how to grow it. You didn't invest it, but you was out here buying these Birkin bags, and you was out here making a shake for a real one. Guess what? 5 years after that, after you got that car, in order to impress people that didn't care anything about you, 5 years. Right after that, guess what? It's over. It's 100% over.
That I tell young people, you can afford that car right now at 20. Will you be able to afford that car at 60?
Yeah, that's the key.
There's a 40-year gap in there.
Yeah, but see, the young guys, they think, like, I always tell them, I say, yo, man, we know stuff. I ain't trying to hate on no young guy. But I'm trying to, because I don't want you to be on that list. What list is that? 80% of professional athletes go broke. I don't want you on that list.
Where are they now?
Yeah, well,
they don't care because they're going to say, we don't want to hear what you got to say. You done already had your time. It's so much wisdom in people that did it before you, and they can give you the game on how you can do it better than them. We do not want to listen to people just because we think that with age comes wisdom. Youth literally translates into ignorance. Ignorance not meaning that you're stupid. It means that you don't know any better. Why wouldn't you take the advice of an OG so that you can do what you really need to do and live? Because it gets better with age. I'm telling you, bro. Listen, we was having a conversation on After Hours, and they said, Anton, I think it was Quentin, and it was a few other people, and they said, man, I would go back to this time. I would go back to that time. And I think I was probably the only person that was on the platform that was just like, not me. My life is better every single year, and I'm living my best life. I've never had a better life than I have right now at 42 years old at any time in history in my life. 2024 so far, the beginning of 2024, has been better than 2023, has been better than 2023 was better than 2022. It's never been, and I see a huge runway ahead of me to be able to really enjoy life. It gets way better as you get older.
like, yo, this money, you're 20.
Mm-hmm.
When you're 55, how much money you gonna have left?
Mm-hmm.
That's the key.
Especially living life. If you're living a lifestyle right now, don't you want to live that lifestyle for the rest of your life? I mean, I don't want to be poor. I've been poor.
Yeah. Hey,
I know what it's like to eat raccoon, possum, sardines, Vienna sausages, pig ears, pigtails, pig feet. I don't want to eat that no more, Chuck, unless I want to. I don't want to have to eat it out of necessity.
Hey, well, listen, I gotta have my pig feet.
You still eat pig feet?
I do. Oh yeah, I do. I got pig feet. I get them.
I detest and I rebuke pig feet and chitterlings.
I go to a great soul food place here called K&K.
Okay.
I get me some pig ears, not pig ears, pig feet.
Yeah.
I gotta have my neck bones.
You see, I love some neck bones.
I love
oxtails.
Oxtails. That's their specialty. I love me some oxtails.
Yeah, man. See?
You got to get some yams. You got to get some collards. I mean, but I started and I tell them, I say, yo, man, I've been in your situation. I wasted money on cars, and then you're like, oh man, because
you said Josh Powell, Adrian. Let me write that down. I got you.
when you waste money on cars, you're really just trying to impress other people.
Correct.
That's what you're doing. That's like when I used to have nice cars, they said, "What kind of rims you gonna put on it?" I said, "What do you mean?" They're like, "Put some rims on it." I said, "So if I put rims on it, I'm really trying to impress other people because I actually can't see the rims when I'm in the car." That's what I tell them. I said, "You know I can't see the rims when I'm in the car."
Right.
So I'm really, that's what Doc said. He said, "So you're really trying to impress other people."
Right.
You don't have to impress people. They already know who the hell you are.
Is it because, Charles, a lot of us come from single
Nothing.
family homes,
Yeah.
we didn't have anything, and this is the first opportunity? Because we don't see the other side. They don't.
Yeah.
I don't think Peyton Manning went out and bought a Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
I don't think guys when they obviously they have nice homes and they.
Yeah.
But I'm saying because all I wanted when I was like, man, when I saw Miami Vice. And I saw that Ferrari, I said, I'm getting me one of them. And Rolex, I said, I got to get me. So I wanted to that was my way of saying, I've made it.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with having nice stuff. I think that's the disagreement, is that people think that is something wrong with treating yourself and having something. No, what I'm saying specifically is to move in moderation and be very careful on how you spend your resources. Allocate the majority of it towards things that actually is going to make you money over a period of time, and you'll make way more money long term than the small thing that you think is money now. Don't mortgage your future in order to satisfy your current situation or your current emotions. That's all we saying is that, and when you buy stuff, be very strategic. Okay, is it okay to have a car? Cool, as long as you make sure that you're making your investments work for you, and you got a long-term perspective on what investment looks like. And it's very easy for you to get it early and crash out. Very easy. When you first get that check, you plan for it. It's so funny to hear people a lot of times to say, man, if I had that money, no, you would do the same thing. You already out here tricking off. You can't even manage what you already got. How you going to sit here and tell me what you would do differently and you having a hard time even being able to? That's why I say be faithful over little, he'll make you ruler over much. Because the logic of it is money don't make you a different person and make you more of what you already are, even when it comes to your spending habits. And so a lot of people, they thought, oh man, I would do it. No, you wouldn't. You would crash out like everybody else, and then you would try to get it on the back end and figure it out later on. Nope. Absolutely not. And so it's okay to have nice things. I believe in being able to have nice things after you take care of your business and you learn how to manage it effectively and you put money into your investments. And then ultimately your investments are the things that's paying for your lifestyle. That's all we saying.
And Herm Edwards,
because I love cars. That is my thing. Cars and beautiful women. I love to have a view of a beautiful woman in order to be able to inspire me. That is my weakness. And a awesome car. And a great experience as far as where it is that I go and what I deal with. I ain't even gonna lie. I got a whole list of cars that I got on order. I got a 911 that's being built. I love timepieces, but I also understand that these appreciate with value over a period of time, so they hold their value, and it's a great asset to own. And I can leverage it against inflation. I got a 911 being built. I love old schools. I got a 87, 86 Buick Grand National that I'm chasing. I'm chasing a DeLorean. I got my 96 Impala. I got my S-Class. I got my Taycan. I love some cars. I ain't even gonna cap, but it has to be in moderation. Oh, and I also got the Porsche, the Lambo on order, but it has to be in moderation so that we can ensure that we're still continuing to build upon the principle and we're letting the interest or the residual value of what it is that we build pay for the lifestyle. We stayed down for 10 plus years before we start spending a dime.
Somebody I really like and admire. He says, you can have one car. You don't need 5. You don't need a bunch of houses.
No.
He says, I live by the one model. You need one. That's good enough. And like I say, and the young black kids, and I'm talking to them, man, save your money.
Yes.
And another thing, you don't have to take care of all your family and friends. For some reason, black people, myself included, I used to be like, my financial people told me, why are you taking care of?
Somebody said, is that moderation, Anton? Oh, it's moderation based off of how much I make. See, my moderation and your moderation is a little bit different. See, when I was living for free because my father was the maintenance guy of an apartment, they said that I was stupid for not jumping out there and not living according to what it was that I was generating in revenue. See, when I was staying down and I was living for free and I lived 2 doors down from my parents, or when I moved back into my parents' basement, ain't nobody had nothing to say. And then now that the investments and the fact that we build homes and we generate a crazy amount of revenue every single month, that's my moderation. See, you got to act your wage. You got to act your wage. Your moderation and my moderation is different. And my moderation in the 2012, 2011, 2013, 14 is different than my moderation 10 years after that. It's levels to this. You got to stay in your lane, okay?
There are 7, 8 people. I'm like, well, he said, no. No, you don't have to take care of everybody.
Right.
Because you're going to go broke. You know, so no, I tell these young kids, yo, man, if you want to do something nice for your mom and dad, you want to do something nice for a brother or sister, that's fine. They don't have to be on the payroll.
Right.
You don't, you don't owe them. That was their job to take care of you. But if you want to do something nice for them, that's fine. Grant Hill, his mom.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. Gave me the best advice ever. I said, because we were at the Olympics actually here in Atlanta in '96. And her and Calvin had came down for a couple games. They said, well, Chuck, we're gonna be here a couple days and we got to get back to work. And I says, Grant just signed the first $100 million contract in NBA history. She says, sit your ass down, Charles. I said, Miss Hill. He says, Charles, I'm gonna just give you some advice. Do not start taking care of your family and friends because number one, they're never gonna stop.
Facts.
And it's gonna ruin all your relationships. I said, what do you mean? He says, when you start giving people money, they're never gonna ask you for money one time.
Right.
But she said, the second thing is, no matter what you do for them, the first time you tell them no, they hate you. And I said, what? And I had to learn, people who I have been giving money to, the first time I told them no, they like, no, we're not friends anymore. That was a tough and painful lesson for me.
Tell them you ain't got it and see if they still rocking with you. Tell them you ain't got it, even if you have it, and see if they still rocking with you.
Junior Bridgman, some credit too. People don't know who that is.
Well, every time I see Junior, I say thank you because Magic is kind of taking over now.
Oh, yes.
But Junior was a good player, but his portfolio, owning all those restaurants, probably being the first billionaire athlete, to be honest with you. Him, Dave Bing, and also is amazing businessman. Right. But every time I see Junior Bridgman, like, for a guy who didn't make a ton of money.
That's what's so impressive.
Yeah,
and didn't have the name.
Didn't have the name to learn how to.
Quentin, are you hitting on my girl Messi? Now, you know, she too pretty for me to be letting that. Okay, listen, I know y'all like to do what y'all do inside of the chat. I'm paying attention to y'all, though.
Handle business. And he's probably got 500 to 1,000 restaurants now.
Somebody in the chat says, Anton, you know that you're privileged. How many black men can crash out at their parents if they fumble the bag and live rent free? So you mad at me because I decided to go back home and live with my parents? What is wrong? What do you want from me? What do you want from me, man? Because even after I started getting a whole lot more money again, I still was living for free. That's the key. It's not, life is 10, my father always said, life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. Listen, are you mad at me or are you mad at your parents for putting you in a position to not really be able to lean back on them and go back home? Don't be mad at me. Get mad at your own parents. That's not my problem. Get you a roommate. Go crash with auntie and them. Be uncomfortable for a second. That's a you problem, not a me problem. I had options. I said, that basement is looking real spiffy. Let me go ahead and give my cars back to the finance company. I got my cars repossessed. And I said, well, we're going to build this from scratch and we're going to do it a little bit differently this time. That's not my problem. That's not my problem.
And like, does it so low key. Does it so low key. Like every time I'm around here, I try to pick his brain.
Right.
Because the one, like, it's different now. because these guys make so much money.
Yeah.
I said, back in our day, I says, dude, and I'm not poo-pooing on this either. I want to make it clear, because when I say it, it's gonna sound stupid. The most money I made was $5 million. Mm-hmm. That was my last year.
Right.
I says, now that's below the minimum. I says, to be a businessman in our day and become a billionaire, you are great at business.
Right.
You are great at business.
And he wasn't a name. People wanted to attach themselves to Magic.
Yes.
People wanted to attach themselves to Mike.
Yes.
He was Junior Bridgman.
Just a great businessman and a good dude. Here's to me is one of the greatest stories ever. And if I was the NBA, I would bring him in every year to my teams, and say, guys, because what people don't understand, everybody on an NBA team or NFL team ain't making a lot of money.
True.
Or ain't gonna play a lot of years.
10, 15.
The average, in both sports, the average year is about 4 years. Those are guys who need a Junior Bridgman. That's like, I was watching the draft last night, and this always annoys me about young kids. I was like, these dudes got Louis Vuitton shirts.
Iced out.
And I don't mind a little ice, but too much ice. They got Dior shoes. I says, they do know that money ain't gonna last forever, right? Get you a pair of Nikes.
No, he's right. I was talking to because the draft was just here in Detroit, and I was asking the guy, because I had went in there and they was telling me that they had got some new stuff just before the draft in order to be able to boost sales and stuff like that. And so I was asking the manager, the guy that actually manages the store and does all the ordering, and I said, yeah, was it busy or whatever? He's like, yeah, this happened, this happened. He said, man, I said, did you get any NFL players or future draftees that came in here and said, yeah, man, this guy said he needed a shirt. This guy wanted a whole hookup and this and that. And he was telling me how much money that these guys were spending before they ever even got an NFL check. And I said, really? And he said, yeah, man. Charles Barkley is 100% right. These guys are spending money before they even make it, before they even get drafted. They are already spending money. I'm telling you, it is going to be. I know one guy. He was an NFL player. He was a phenomenal player, and I can't say his name, but the dude is so far in the rut when it comes to the IRS. He has no prospect. He has no tangible skills. He is not. He was a great athlete. He was a phenomenal college player, a phenomenal, not so much great NFL player. His NFL career didn't pan out the way that everybody thought it was. But the dude is up to his eyeballs in debt, child support, and taxes that he owes to the IRS. He will never, until the day that he dies, he will never, ever get out of that debt. He got to hit the lottery to get out of the debt. The dude is literally living off of his reputation. And he's a younger guy. He will never get out of that debt. And he keep getting hoes pregnant. Whole nother conversation. Anyways, phenomenal take from Charles Barkley. I absolutely agree with him. You just got to be able to maintain, and you got to figure out that this stuff has got to last you for the rest of your life, and you got to make adjustments accordingly.